Hi there, my name is Scott Hayden. I'm a teacher and I'm a digital innovation specialist at Basingstoke College of Technology, which means that I help all teachers and all students using digital tools to enhance teaching, learning, and assessment. I'm also working as part of the Department for Education's EdTech Demonstrator programme, where we are supporting schools and colleges around England to best use and leverage this incredible digital pencil case that we now have available to us to facilitate flipped, blended, online, hybrid learning approaches. Here's some tips. Something that's been quite well received with many of our students is the tool Flipgrid. So, Flipgrid is a wonderful tool whereby students can capture 30 to 90 seconds clips of themselves demonstrating what they are doing, vlogging, capturing the screen, or if they're shy, as some of my students are, like Eve was, pictures of themselves or drawings of themselves as little avatars while they speak over their clip. This was effective because it gave a chance to our students for them to develop their communication skills, to practice appearing on camera, which is no small thing. It is difficult. Some people chose to just shoot their screen instead and show what they were doing. What's nice about a Flipgrid is that you can respond to these video clips with other video clips, and you get these lovely threaded conversations of different video conversations, essentially. And the students can annotate their videos in humorous, irreverent, playful ways that are creative. Really nice way to stay in sync with your students when you are working remotely. Flipgrid is. That's been used in quite a few of our subjects in the last year or so as a way to see each other and to respond to each other in a way that was familiar. So Flipgrid is a really wonderful, powerful tool that I really recommend using. Other tools that are useful and essential actually for us are chat tools, whether it be Yammer, Google Chat, or Slack. Spaces, back channels for students to talk to each other before, during, and after sessions, sharing images, videos, articles, text comments. When's the lesson start? When's the homework due in? How do I access the video? Talking to each other like they would in class, giving them an option to engage in the material, in the learning, in a way that's familiar, has been really useful. Because as I'm sure you're noticing, a lot of our students are somewhat reluctant to turn on their webcams at first and engage in the sessions, but having chat tools as a way for them to actually talk and engage and share has been really useful. Having these for every single one of our full-time areas has been a bit of a target of ours. And we're seeing really fascinating, vibrant discussion and back and forth and community between the little tribe that is their classroom. Using video is something that we've all been doing more and more of. And it's something that the college have been doing for a while. As you can see, this video is dated. I think it's 2017. In this video, you can see our automotive and motorsport students on the left-hand side there recording vlogs, how-to guides of how to carry out a service or what they're doing behind the scenes en route to a race that they're putting the car forward for. Talking about the process of what they're doing, because in their industry, they're going to be asked to capture videos of what they're doing. Demonstration, explainer videos to the clients to show their competence, to enhance their skill set. Communication skills in that trade in particular are crucial. So this is a really useful and somewhat undeniable bit of evidence of our students capturing what they're actually doing, far more powerful than another Word document, as it were. On the right-hand side, we can see some of our wonderful access to healthcare students using podcasts. Anchor FM in particular, a really powerful tool whereby students can capture conversations of what they are discussing, debating, critically thinking about, and add in intro music, outro music, a little bed of music underneath as well. It gives it that radio podcast sheen. Really fun, really simple, and free. Anchor FM, really powerful tool. In terms of capturing voice reflections, research, evaluations, discussions, thoughts, milestones throughout a project. Podcasts and vlogs are a really powerful tool we've been using at the college for quite a while now. This is something I'm really keen to collaborate with others on. So this is using social media, Twitter in particular, in this context, whereby we can have our students tweet along on a certain hashtag to join in a discussion about gun control, racism, pandemics, whatever is the most topical issue. Students tweet along and develop their digital reputation by using these tools professionally. The more confident of our students might want to appear on camera live streaming using tools like Periscope or YouTube Live, Instagram Live, Facebook Live to have an audience to their discussion. What's interesting about this is that the students who are more confident, more vocal, will have a chance to develop their communication skills and get really interesting criteria to go towards their unit grades, their modules, which is captured, of course. They also have an audience, as you can see, 163 viewers watch these ladies here from the childcare course talk about social media and its impact on their mental health. They sat up straighter, they enunciated, they used terminology, they brought their A game in that discussion. Discussions in our classrooms, typically we get the same 3 or 4 people, don't we, that always somewhat lead the conversation, and the shyer students, let's say, more reluctant to join in. This is a way to differentiate, whereby we can get them using these tools in a creative way, but provide the option to either type along or to actually go on camera and join in the discussion on that debate as well. What it also does is gives you the option for getting people outside of the 4 walls of our institutions to join in. So there we can see some students from Birmingham, Alabama in the United States who've got very different views about topics such as gun control and racism and Black Lives Matter in particular than we did in Basingstoke, Hampshire, UK. Fascinating views, really illuminating views, and somewhat challenging views as well. Ones we don't necessarily agree with, but they were really articulate, bright, brilliant young minds, and were really fascinating to talk to. Really helped us see the world differently. Really enjoyed working with them. Their views about civil rights and about equality and diversity were really interesting and made us think differently, it's fair to say. Having the students have an opportunity to capture evidence like this in a way that they're familiar with as a choice is something that we provide for our students at the college. Having sites and blogs and socials for our students to capture photos, videos, the process of them carrying out a vocational task or a constructive hands-on task has been useful for evidence for us in an assessment sense, but has also been powerful for them to have a tool that transcends the qualification and can go with them into their lives beyond the course. Whether it be Ben from barbering, building up his socials using photographic evidence of the cuts he was practicing on his course, developing his ability to use a calendar, a booking system to promote himself, to build up his freelance career, or whether it be Aisha from arts, did incredible work, displaying her work, her portfolio to universities and to employers to show her process as well. Real interesting insight into her as a creative, which really helped her become more employable. And Abby from makeup, who was somewhat reluctant to embrace technology when she joined our course, because we had that 1 hour of independent digital study, over the course of the year, created a wonderful site, which, as you can see, displayed her work and had an About Me page, how to book me space as well, where she could put her coursework, but also promote herself beyond the course and actually earned a freelance contract of £2,000 as well, because of this site being a space for her to advertise herself. It helped. We use digital in a meaningful and relevant way that helps the career chances and growth and development of the skills and the employability chances of our students. That's really important to us. Using tools like ClickView and, in this instance, Dialogues to have our students engage in discussions and debates. Here, talking in threaded conversations about a video. You can see there's different points on the right-hand side there of provocative questions, polls, true or falses, and they have to engage and discuss and create their own points as well for other people to talk and respond to. Getting other subject areas to discuss and debate has been really important to us, because getting outside the echo chamber of our own friends and our own immediate classmates, being challenged by different viewpoints as well. What one person sees as racist, other people might see as satirical. What one person sees as being fascist, other people might see as being somewhat traditional. Seeing these viewpoints and these perspectives is challenging, and it's growing us. And they're all in sandbox environments whereby it's monitored by the teachers to actually see how well, or in some instances, how not so well, some of the views that are being expressed. But that ultimately is our job, to enhance and improve the way we talk and engage and communicate. Tools such as this is a wonderful tool, On Shape, a collaborative real-time CAD tool that helps our engineering students to collaborate in real time, free, by the way, as well. On Shape is on models and to construct and to use existing templates to actually develop their CAD skills when working remotely in the cloud with other people, talking and chatting while they do so within the actual software. Incredibly powerful tool for engineering students. On Shape, completely free to education as well. At the bottom there, we can see Tinkercad. So Tinkercad is again, collaborative, real-time, cloud-based 3D modeling tool, which comes with lots of pre-built assets, but enables the students to sketch and create and build. As you can see there, some construction students use this tool here to actually think about floor plans and geometry and planning and thinking about maths in a real life context, as best as we could when working remotely, before we actually got hands-on with the physical, real-life equivalents. In terms of simulations, in terms of getting our minds to think about the world in 3 dimensions, these tools are really powerful and a really useful tool to help embed maths in subjects such as engineering, automotive, and construction, we found. This is our public services course. Wonderful teacher with James, who created an operations room whereby the students worked using maps collaboratively to actually talk to each other using headsets, to use spreadsheets, documents, chat groups to solve simulated incidents, whether it be an M3 collision, a terrorist incident, a natural disaster, working against the clock while being captured by the webcam to solve a problem, to get the school bus to safety, to clear the road, to make sure the emergency services were in touch with the people at the shopping centre, whatever the issue might be. Responding to real issues, with James being on the other side of the wall or elsewhere in the building, giving them updates on what's happened in the situation and getting them to respond and react appropriately to whatever the situation is. All the while, it being captured on the webcam gave it a real dynamic Crystal Maze style urgency, because they were being captured for assessment evidence and were getting a sense of what it's like to work against the clock to solve problems. Really powerful tool. We can actually bring in people outside the classroom as well to communicate with people in the actual space as well. So good as a hybrid lesson as well. Using videos is something we've been doing a fair amount for some time now, whether it be me doing assignment brief walkthroughs, talking through what I want the students to do in the assignment brief, explaining what the expectations are, whether it be having our English teachers show how to get the top marks in their GCSE exam, explaining through paper 1 question 4 and what you need to do, showing those exemplars in a way that can be rewound, revisited and revised from, whether it be me marking work, and a lot of our teachers using similar approaches whereby we can actually go through and assess students' work by screen sharing using Screencastify or Microsoft Stream, whatever it might be, to talk through the work of the students. That's been a really powerful tool for us. And we found that we give more detail when we mark that way. We give more detail, more personalised touch, because we can put their name on it, talk to them, look down the lens and address them, and show them exactly what we're thinking as we're talking about it, highlighting it. It's been really quite useful. Ideally, we'd be sat down next to them, of course, side by side, talking it through. But this is useful in the sense it captures it as a video for them to revisit as many times as they want. Podcasting is another way of doing this, but many of our students who like to see that visual prompt, this is quite effective. Using video to assess. Here you see my former apprentice, my current colleague, Sky Caves. On her apprenticeship unit, we use timestamps underneath the YouTube video. You'll see when I scroll down in a moment the timestamps of when Sky hit certain criteria in the conversation. That was really useful because it helps me add in 0.30, that's when she hit 1.1, 8.42, that's where she hit this particular bit, and the assessor, the external verifier, standards verifier, can actually use those timestamps to jump straight to the bits they want to see rather than watch the entire thing. Really rich and powerful way to streamline things, and more organic and natural for her to actually give those examples verbally, we found. This is what our working day looks like for my technologist team. There's Sky, who was my apprentice. She's now my colleague, going into a staff room, showing teachers different tools and apps and approaches so it can be used in their actual classroom. That's what we pride ourselves on doing, that close collaboration alongside teachers, and we continue to pride ourselves on that. It's really important to us that we give teachers the time in their staff room, classroom, inset day, all the time, not just tokenistically, but all the time, be an extension of their team, being their caddies, as it were, to support them. Really important. It's what we love doing, being in their staff rooms and classrooms. But things have changed, it's fair to say, and we've adapted. So here's what we've done since March 2020. We've moved completely online with all of our lessons, live lessons, which are still timetabled. The calendar has remained the same as it were for the student perspective. They simply click on their timetable and it sends them to a video lesson whereby they will have their objectives in Google Classroom we're using for a lot of our full-time courses. And the teacher, in this instance, has created a video walkthrough explaining what they need to do. This is an example of giving that scaffolding, that structuring, that context to what they're doing. Explaining to them what they need to do. Again, it can be rewound, revisited, replayed as many times as is needed. As a student, I would have been in need of that. Many of our students need that reassurance, as it were. So Gemma created this video for them to go back over and to revisit and to see what they need to do in relation to gear ratios. Even attached some videos, as you can see here, for them to see what they needed to do. She also gave them access to this software called Electude, which is this interactive simulated environment of a car engine underneath the bonnet, as it were, for them to problem solve and deduce the issue, as it were, as they look at what they need to do. In terms of online learning, It's been quite effective. Of course, we'd rather be in the workshop with the actual cars, but in lieu of that, this is a way to keep that skill set, that workflow, the muscle memory of sorts, relatively fresh in the sense that they are getting used to the flow of what the expectations are, how to actually think and apply that theory. Using tools like Jamboard as well, which is an interactive whiteboard space, a screen on everybody's device for them to sketch, add post-its, add images, ideate, add images, bring in documents, whatever is needed, for them to work collaboratively. Has been really useful. You can see here the automotive students taking a space each and then updating in their own unique ways answers to the questions as to what are the checks, what is needed, what are the faults to look for when they're doing a service, and collaboratively as a class, having them answer that. It's a really rich, dynamic, synchronous way to work remotely. So automotive in particular have been really embracing of these tools. I'm very happy to say. ThingLink has also been quite popular, whereby an image, whether it be a 2D image or a 3D image, can be annotated with hotspots, with pop-up questions or information or video to actually help the students delve a little bit deeper into what the asset needs is and how to operate it, for example. That's been really useful. And getting students to create their own thing links as well has been a great way of getting them to show their understanding of the intricacies of the elements they work with in their profession. Hospitality have been incredible since lockdown. Here we can see in the top right-hand corner of the screen, Justin from our hospitality team. Chris and Dan have been similarly fantastic as well in our hospitality team, but this video here I think illustrates really well an online lesson for the hospitality students in lockdown, where the teacher records either live or as a bottled canned lesson using Apple clips, I believe Justin is using here, to actually create a video, an explainer, a how-to of hoisin pork noodles in this instance. So the students can go through it, rewind it, revise, pause, revisit accordingly, use the attached how-to guides if that is preferable, use the YouTube videos to delve deeper as well, so they can create their own hoisin pork noodle equivalent. What Justin would do is he would demonstrate and then flip things, get them to go away and do it themselves, and then to bring back that evidence, which was fantastic because whatever they were doing each week, the students would have time to go away and practice, which would give the teacher time as well to raise their family and to teach their kids to, like we would in the classroom, go around and check on the others. Because we can't always be looking down the camera lens for 2 hours. That's a bit intimidating from a student perspective. Justin entrusting his students to go away and do something to bring back the evidence. And if they don't bring back the evidence, then whether they've attended or not is up for discussion. Their engagement is their attendance, arguably. Bringing back and photographing evidence, as you can see here, of what they've done. The king of breakfast, Dylan, is challenging us all to beat his breakfast. We will cook live and see what we can create to knock him off his kingdom. Wonderful. A sense of community, a sense of belonging, a sense of challenge, a sense of progress. Justin was absolutely fantastic working online with his learners in a subject that arguably does not necessarily lend itself well to online learning. Justin found a way. A fantastic teacher who adapted really well. Creating videos like these here has been another way that we've adapted. We can see here Tom from English creating video explainers of the key principles in English for his students, which we've put on our website, bcotenglish.com. There is a bcotmaths.com equivalent as well, which is free, so please help yourself to all the resources on there. But videos like this have been useful in that Tom has this bank of resources, as do the English team now, to help the students with key principles, freeing up his time in the live lessons to intervene in the breakout rooms, to talk to the students with that coaching, that small teams teaching, which of course is preferable for a lot of our students in English and maths resits. Thinking about the way we deliver aspects of our teaching in a different way is something we've all been forced to think about. I used to love doing this lesson, this storyboarding lesson, live, gathered round, bits of paper everywhere, and us working through our storyboards. But the feedback I got from my students saying that helps them more than the live equivalent. A bit gutted at first because I thought I was quite good doing it live, but they preferred it this way because they could, again, revisit, rewind at their own pace. As I'm sure many of you are noticing, I go quite quick when I get excitable about these topics. Having the ability to revisit and rewind at the pace that is bespoke and personalised, there's power in that. And I feel like there are many parts of what I do where it's better with me creating these video or podcast or image guides, as it were. God, I've aged, haven't I, in the last 6 months. It's been a tough year. Getting our English team to use tools like wiser.me, wiser.me, interactive self-marking quizzes, filling in an image, matching tables, videos, drawing, sorting, discussion. This tool is rich with different ways of testing our students' understanding and knowledge. And self-marking, we're utilising and leveraging a lot of these self-marking tools to give that time back to our teachers who don't necessarily have to mark a lot of these elements that can be automated. If they can be automated and give those incremental gains back to our teachers and their time, their lives, and their well-being, then we will leverage it. Using tools such as wiser.me and Century have been massive wins for our English and maths team in particular. Self-marking quizzes, mock exams in English and maths on the left-hand side here have been really useful with timers on, so students can complete their mocks remotely with the timer signed into their accounts, and teachers can analyse their results, which come into spreadsheets at the end. A really useful way to push things forward when we're struggling to have momentum with the changes in our approach due to lockdown. The charts and graphs that are generated as a result of the Google Forms, Microsoft Forms are really rich and give us really interesting insights into how the students are feeling, how many hours they're spending on their bloody phones, what apps they're finding maybe too addictive, how they're feeling in relation to the emojis is quite a useful way to actually getting an insight into their well-being, what they need more help with, what is going well, what are the barriers, what's demotivating them. Forms are a wonderful way to actually get not only evidence of their progress and barometers and milestone formative checks on learning, but also just on their well-being and how they're feeling. Incredible rich data we can get from these forms that can be used by curriculum teams to intervene and help people. Checking in on our students at the end of each session, really useful. The fact it goes into a spreadsheet like this makes it nice and easy to look at afterwards as well. All automated. They fill in the form, it goes into the spreadsheet. Tools such as Menti have been really useful, and WooClap, really lovely tool, WooClap, whereby you can visualize the responses from the starters or from plenaries or from just little checks on learning throughout the lesson, as it were. To have it visualized in a way that's quite engaging like so is really useful for our students to actually think about data and to think about their responses and to think about wider contexts and the way people think and respond to different issues. Get them to capture research themselves using WooClap and Menti has been really useful. And Google Forms, of course, great for that as well, to get that research. Jamboard and Microsoft Whiteboard are incredibly powerful tools to help our students to document their progress, whether it be colouring in a progress bar, adding post-its, or questions, or giving peer feedback, or whether it be annotating an assignment brief. Over there. You know what I mean? Over here. Whereby they get a copy of the assignment brief and they can annotate it, and they can add post-its, and they can say, I'm not sure what this means, or can you help me with this? Really useful starter we've found, really popular starter using whiteboards, creating sketches, drawings, graphic novels, just documenting their progress on a project, illustrating how they're feeling using memes and drawings and sketches. You get interesting insights using these tools, getting beyond just a document or a slide deck, sketching and drawing and doodling. Interesting insights we've found into our psychology of the students we've found. Also, it's just fun. We've noticed that there's some parts of some of our courses that lend themselves well to being automated, to being self-marking. The principles of coding unit on our computing course for our apprentices lent itself quite well. So Umera, one of our wonderful technologist apprentices, created this Wix site, Wix, Weebly, Google sites, all completely free drag and drop websites, website builders. Put videos, pop-up explainers, engaging graphics, and self-marking forms where the students can answer based on the learning the website gives them, their responses to different questions in relation to JavaScript or PHP, wherever it might be. Having these sites, blogs with these self-marking quizzes, games, and instant feedback devices for our students has been incredibly useful, and creating evidence of their progress, freeing up our teachers' time to focus on the bits that can't be automated, the bits that have to be assessed using the human approach, as it were, the more nuanced interrogation into their responses. If there can be, as you can see here with the structure of algorithms, Google form, yes or no, right or wrong answers, and that is a slick way to assess it, and that's something we've been leveraging quite a bit on some of our subjects. In the last lockdown, our hair and beauty team used tools such as TikTok and Instagram video to capture video examples of their competence and skills, which, of course, we would rather be in the salon. But if we can't be in the salon, but we need to keep moving forward, and our mum and dads and brothers and sisters' hair is getting longer, they had their canvas on which to create their evidence. So using these tools in a way that's familiar to them has been really useful. Using tools such as Instagram, as the makeup students have done, sites and blogs like Weebly and Wix to display their progress has been really powerful, not only for assessment evidence, but also to make them ready for their next step with their site or blog that will help them to become employable. Using, as public services have done here on the right-hand side, the opportunity of online learning for guest speakers to come and talk to our students has been incredibly effective. Students being able to talk and chat, whether it be texting, chat responses, or whether it be being brave enough to turn on their camera and talk to these individuals has been really useful. Whether it be Ian Warlow there from the College of Policing, or whether it be Galwali here, wonderful TED talk speaker who knew a fair amount about immigration, it's fair to say, written a book on it, really intelligent dude, and had a different perspective that challenged some of our students' perspectives on immigration and Brexit and what Britishness actually is. Different perspectives coming into the classroom using guest speakers is something I can't recommend enough. The fact that we have a principal, Anthony Bravo, who role models, the open-minded, risk-taking approach to embracing digital teaching, learning, and assessment is crucial and the prime mover, arguably, in all of this that I've shared with you. He records video each week, which he shares with us in an email, and it's kind of nice to see that human touch, as it were, where he talks to us all, gives us an update, makes sure we're okay, always reiterates his open door policy, virtual now, of course, because it was a literal open door when he was in his office. And that sense of community, that sense of bringing things together and checking up on us and giving us updates each week has been a wonderful touch. And the fact he's role modeling, that he's using these tools, has a really positive impact on the rest of us. So if you need any help at all with any of these tools, please get in touch. The EdTech Demonstrator Program is available for you to sign up to. We like to work with people in one-to-ones or small team training ideally, but if you need any webinars, any large full school, college presentations, we can do that. But really it's that nuanced, bespoke, personalised support that has that impact we've found so far. So we're available to help you. This link here, the bit.ly, BCOT EdTech demo menu, lots of free resources there as well, which are available for you to use. So please help yourselves. Need any extra help, please get in touch because we are available to help you. Thank you.